December 24, 6 nights until New Year's Eve. Until New Year, basically. So, this is the 26th. No, 25th. It's Christmas Day. 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31. Why? Yeah. Again and again. It's the same sensation. Sudden plunge into frigid waters, snapping me back to reality. Not exactly a graceful awakening, more of a shit, here we go again kind of moment. In the midst of all this routine, there's always that distinctive first touch. The thing that jolts me back to consciousness. This time, it's the gentle rustle of pages turning. Subtle nudge back to the waking world. I crack open an eye and look around. In his derelict armchair, Padraig sits bent over a heavy tome, pencil in hand, etching thoughts onto the yellowed pages. His gaze never leaves the text, but he never have sensed me awaken. Good evening, I hope you slept well. Yeah, kinda, hell no. As well as one can when their home's been taken away. God, I had so many cushions. Bought them myself, you know. There was even a little fox embroidered on one. How very quaint. I would never have pictured you as one for nostalgia. Yeah, well, you don't know me at all, so... I suppose that is fair. So did I snooze through anything unnoteworthy? He jots down one last note and carefully closes the book before finally glancing up at me, face unyielding and cold as ice. That would depend on your definition of noteworthy, but I have been pondering our next steps. Oh? Do tell! I have been working for the Anarchs for the past 2 years and forged friendly relationship with some of them. Torque included, although in this particular case I would rather avoid his presence. You sure, quiet as day much? I'm with you on that one. Trouble in paradise? Trouble in the Bronx. Ha ha ha! Torque is more than occupied with the current goings-on within his turf. He may have neither time nor patience for a visit. He glances at the window, clearly wrestling with his thoughts. Pity! So what do you propose then? The allegations against your sire? See, I happen to know someone who's used to be deeply entrenched in the darker corners of the Red Market. An anarch working not too far from here. If Castle truly wields as much influence as the court suggests, my contact could offer substantial aid. Substantial, you say? Wow, can't argue with that, except it's a no-go, amigo. His face crunches up in surprise as he repeats the words as if trying to taste them for poison. No-go, amigo? Look, I get it, you have friends and contacts in Lately, but so do I. Also, I know Raynor Castle like the back of my hand. We've been dealing all around the city on and off for almost 2 years. There's gotta be somebody here who knows where he bailed. Padraig furrows his brow, waiting for me to elaborate further. This is a real quandary. Two little angels whisper steadily into my ears, one having fallen spectacularly into the pits of hell, while the other has only sauntered vaguely downwards, spouting completely and contradictory notions. In the end, I ignore them both, as I often do, and choose a third option, the best option, one where I don't have to reveal much at all. There's this one guy who hangs out around Harlem, Elie Sansorik. Apparently, he's one of the few kindred that didn't burn with hatred for Reynard, so it must mean they were getting along. He tilted his head slightly at the name of my, well, let's just call it a contact. Elie Sansorik, the serpent? Why? You have something against them? Do you know what the ministry... Never mind. You have the slightest inkling about what Sansorik's capable of? They do have a thing for the ministry? Cryptolect. Specific cipher unique to each Ravnos band that lets them communicate in code. Kali's coterie employs a modified hobo code distinguished by the addition of 3 lines over a dot, allowing only those in the know to understand the message behind the altered symbols. Ministry is not there. Special Affair Division is called SAD. This FBI division is committed to neutralizing the kindred threat. To get their target, SAD use not only its influence in law enforcement, but also their extensive case files on anti-kindred activities and some finesse and detective work. Commandeer kindred assets give them impressive economic freedom from other global entities involved in what Vampire called the Second Inquisition. The hospitality. Honor one's another domain. When thou comest into a foreign city, thou shalt present thyself to the one who ruled there. Without the word of acceptance, thou art nothing. Keeping tabs on who is within the city has come difficult in the modern age of refugees and global citizens. While some princes erect walls or attempt to control the borders through political means, others gives up on enforcing this law. Hello, Speelite. How you doing? This is a new game. I'm checking the term. There you go. Ministry. The Ministry always has something to offer. This often cult-like clan recruits those able to employ temptation as a weapon. So basically, it's a visual novel of Vampire Masquerade. It's the sequel to Coteries of New York and Shadows of New York. You will see familiar characters going on. And right now we're playing Ravnos, if you're familiar with the TTRPG Vampire the Masquerade. And we're being chaperoned by a caitiff who is a mediator between Camarilla and the Anarchs. He's a neutral party, basically. And we're looking for our sire, who's bailed on us and also has been accused of many crimes, blood trafficking, and if I'm new at streaming, a little bit. Well, it's true that I'm not well known, but also I do this as a hobby, basically, and I also do descriptive narration for people who are visually impaired. So I'm an ally of people for the accessibility community. So I have a lot of blind friends, blind streamers, and stuff like that. So yeah, since I'm on the autism spectrum as well, I tend to get along, since I like to describe scenes and cutscenes like that. Sometimes I will pause the game a lot. I would read stuff a lot, like what I'm doing right now. Yes, thank you for... No, it's okay. Feel free to interrupt and ask a question. I was reading about the Ministry. Like, this is one of those clans I'm not more familiar with. Are you familiar with Vampire the Masquerade? Are you a fan? They embrace those with the will and means to sway, entrap, and ultimately liberate their targets from whatever they seek. The victim's position, allegiance, or even fate to the serpents, everything has a price. Okay. We're playing a vampire game, basically. We're playing vampires. It's like, it's used to be a tabletop game that plays with D10s. It's not your typical D20 settings. You play with a lot of D10s, and it works with successes. Like, basically, you can do whatever you want. You describe your actions to the DM, and he's going to ask you to roll a number of dice, depending on the dots on your sheet. Combination of, skills and attributes. And you tell them how many successes there are. There's hunger factors. Since you're a vampire, sometimes you have to pull on your blood, and you get hungry. And basically, the only way to sate your thirst is by killing people. But usually, people who don't want to play the roadside killer basically keep their hunger at 1. But when it's at 3, it starts to be problematic. The beast inside you speaks to you. It's quite interesting, really. So yeah, monikers: Clan of the Fates, Setites, Followers of Set, Clan of Lies, Typhonists, Serpents, Liberator, Judacians. Yeah, I'm familiar a bit with the Followers of Set. They rebranded themselves as a ministry ever since the Second Inquisition came in. Like, they're quite useful allies, basically, for the Anarchs, but usually they're Merchant of Desire. Okay. I'm not fond of that look, the one filled with pity, but somehow I can't seem to bring out a credible light to spite him. Go on, enlighten me. To put it bluntly, only in the most desperate situation would anyone with an ounce of sanity consider seeking out Eli Sansarik. A perfect lead, given my circumstances. I can go find him now, have a little chat, and be back in no time. We could go fight him, but it's far from the best course of action at the moment. Sansarik is known to be extremely dangerous and territorial. We should not take him lightly. I propose we go to the Anarchs first. At least they will not be in danger of losing our heads. You're being so dramatic. We're gonna be fine. What's the worst that can happen? I believe us literally losing our head is most definitely in the realm of possibility. We could split the party, you know. Again, we most certainly could not. See, I think, sweet lord, this guy. Alright, time to kick things up a notch. I fish a weighted coin out of my belt bag. Whoops, sorry. I think I reached my limit here. How about we just flip a coin? Heads, we go to Sansarik. Tails, we go to Harlem. You mean the Bronx? I hate it when people actually listen to what I say. Fine, fine. Call it already. I see him hesitate, eyes going blank for a moment. His hands almost inadvertently crawl towards his ring, spinning it around a couple of times. Squinting at it, finally managed to make out that it's a dice ring. One of those real dorky ones that D&D nerds wear when they want to look their silliest. Finally, Patrick looks back at me, gaze as sharp as ever. Alright, but you called it. Suit yourself, buddy. It's your funeral. Toss for heads, toss for tails. Tails! I lower my head to hide the little smile. The weighted coin glimmers in the warm light of the floor lamp as it soars through the air, spinning quicker than the wheel of fate. It lands safely on my outstretched hand. I flip it into my palm, showing it confidently to Patrick without even a glance. He looks at it and smiles up at me like the cat that got the cream. Heads! Fancy that, since we're all going to the Bronx after all. What? Impossible. It's really impossible. This has never happened before. Treacherous coin, have I not been good to you? Have I not kept you safe in my pocket all these years? Is that how you repay me? I mean, what the actual fuck? Who is he? Did David Blaine finally freeze to death and turn into his lanky trickster? How did he? Best 2 out of 3? Come on, you can take my car. Well, shit, that's 1 battle lost. Wait, yeah, your car. Wait, you mean that black rattletrap out front? It's a perfectly serviceable vehicle whose minuscule size allow for... You know what? How about we just go and you can enjoy your minuscule vehicle in silence? Alright, we're going to the Ace for Anarchy. Stupid coin. Gotta take the L, I guess. Not my ideal move, but tagging along with the caitiff might get me some answers. Plus, having seen Thor's reaction at Elysium, those Anarch might have a soft spot for Patrick and share more than they would if I asked them myself. So we're in Harlem. Oh, this is a nice illustration here. We can see clearly Callie's face in the car. Patrick's car is indeed a perfectly serviceable vehicle, and that's legally all I'm allowed to say. I'm having a blast shuffling through all the ancient cassette tapes he's collected, judging his taste in music out loud. Another Bohemian Rhapsody? Seriously? Huh, I thought I only had one of them. Terrific. He says it with the straightest of face. I can't help but burst into laughter. God forbid you get with the times, but how about legit car radio, you know, to update your playlist? Says the one sporting a Walkman on her belt. Touche, I guess. Still, I do have a soft spot for Queen. Never gets old. Just saying, you're missing out a whole lot if you ignore stuff from the 21st century. The music scene's been booming. Ever heard of K-pop? You're giving off some serious sasang energy, my guy. He's eyed me with sudden interest. Do you think any of them have released cassette tapes? Aside from our contrasting views on modernity, our little journey proceeds smoothly. Too smoothly, in fact. A violent itch grows within me to tease, scratch, prod, and I can't help but give in. What's up with Patrick? Why the anarchs exactly? Let him shake until he Let's shake him until he spills. Holy shit! Watch out! He doesn't even flinch. The hell? We're gonna crash! Seriously, are you a robot or what? No, just seasoned and in the right mind. What was that really about then? Because you need to do better than that to freak me out. Just the traffic driving me nuts. Though I would stir up a little chaos, a little bit of anarchy. Is that your subtle way of inquiring about a seemingly touchy subject? You tell me. Then brace yourself for disappointment. My run-ins with the anarchs aren't nearly as thrilling as you might hope. I landed in New York about 2 years ago. Shortly after, I managed to save a handful of kindred, mostly of the anarch variety, although I do believe there was some camarilla in the mix. It earned me what I would call tentative trust from Torque, and not much else, as you might have assessed back in Elysium. Wow, how noble! So, how did you go from kindred hero to camarilla gopher? That's a pause, as if he's generally considering the trajectory of his own life. I have a knack for playing pacemaker, apparently. And while Thor considers it an asset, the Camarilla thinks it's a chink in his armor. Compromise isn't really in their vocabulary, you know. Oh, I definitely do know. But if you saved from Camarilla Kindred as well, why not start with them and curry some favor? They're the fat cats of New York, right? I'm a caitiff, Callie. My kind is not exactly welcome around the ivory tower. A rare feeling of guilt washes over me, even though there is no bitterness in his voice. After a brief, uncomfortable silence, I abruptly change the subject and lead the conversation onto a slightly different track. Tell me more about the Anarchs, anything interesting about the Camarilla, any other major players in the city. Alright, let's talk about the neutral players. So we have the Camarilla and the Anarchs, and that's pretty much standard fare. Anybody else we keep an eye out for? No. His response is so swift, it borders on phony, but his face remains as impassive as always. Right. So, how about cool stories about the Anarchs? You seem to gel with them the most. He hesitates briefly, his hands, while placed firmly on the steering wheel, meet in the middle, and his fingers start nervously fiddling with the dice ring. Deep down, the logical part of me knows I should back off. But the readily available part, the one right beneath my cold, dense skin, lurches at this opportunity to sneak straight into the vault of secrets. Come on, I'm dying of boredom here. You must have some wild tales to tell, something not found in your pile of books. Fidgeting with the ring stops. His hands return to the perfectly sensible 9-3 on the wheel. 9-3? Not even 10-2? No wild tales, really. I mostly just talk to people. Riveting. What kind of people? Thin bloods, for the most part. I was particularly interested in one called Sana, but mentioning her tends to shut conversation down, probably because she met her final death 4 years back at the hands of the sheriff, no less. 4 years back, 2020. That was. I think that was a bit. Oh yeah, that was after Shadows of New York, basically. Khadir? Wow, she must have really stirred the pot. Well, she did go on a mortal killing spree. Oh yeah, that girl. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That did happen, but it happened in 2019. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was one of the side quests with D'Angelo. Yeah, we're looking for a thin blood serial killer. Shows he had relationship with Sana. Yeah, poor bastard. I'm not one to judge whether or not the punishment fit the crime. What? Nor am I, or it didn't fit the crime. What do you mean? No, no, I'm gonna say nor am I. Well, I know a thing or two about walking the line between right and wrong, so I don't think I'm in any place to judge her either. Still, what put her to do it? He hesitates again. Why so secretive about a tin blood going rogue? She claimed she was acting under orders from Kane, urging her to kill. My eyebrow shoots up, waiting for him to continue. He allegedly told Sana the end of the world is nigh, and somehow that devolved into a killing spree. And she never questioned why the creator of our whole species would specifically choose her, just to straight up went on a rampage. For some reason, this perfectly innocent remark really gets on his nerve. Look, just telling you what I heard. I never met Sana myself. I just found her condition fascinating. Okay? Sorry. Sorry, I made some crumbs. I was eating the last of my panettone. Hmm. Hey, no need to get worked up. I glanced at your research notes. I know you're really into the inner voices stuff. I'm not judging. It's just we can end this conversation anytime you want, really. It's just that you have such some really niche hobbies, you know? Me, I interest you in, I don't know, crocheting or something. It's a lot less intense than chasing crazies. The kindred might not need air. But Patrick's sigh so profoundly it probably echoed into the very afterlife or whatever else Sana went after meeting her final death. The Bronx. Alleyway. Not sure what I expected from an anarch outpost in one of the most densely populated cities in America. Maybe a sewer hideaway sitting right next to the local rats. Maybe a few Prohibition era cellars linked by a web of secret corridors. Maybe even a chaotic squat in a dilapidated brownstone. But a grimy auto repair shop with a bold red sign proudly declaring it's Mato's place? That definitely wasn't on my list. Are we lost, or can you read, or is it about your car? Now, I know I'm not supposed to talk about your perfectly serviceable car anymore, but is this really the right time for your yearly inspection? Ouch. The silence treatment. Padraig parks carefully, checking the side mirror to see if he's aligned perfectly with the curb. Finally, with a satisfied nod, he turns the engine off. Let's go. And he gets out of the car just like that. I follow, of course, not because he told me to, but, well, hanging solo in the car at night gets real boring. Real fast, even with Queen Dido dying in the background. Mato, you here? I fully expect company, but I still flinch when a huge burly kindred steps out from the shadows, quieter than a mouse. His grime-covered arms are all set to give Patrick, a bear hug. But he stops himself at the very last moment, either from plain common sense or because I'm there. Yeah, I knew it. He's a Japanese descent. He's very big. Burly, muscly brows, some tattoos. Matomoto. Paddy! Looking good, my man! What can I do for you? Need me to take a look at that whole clunker of yours? Paddy? Clunker? Oh, this is really gonna be good. I grin at Paddy, expectantly only to be met with his gaze full of discontent. My clunker is in tough shape, thank you, Mato. Besides, I can see you are rather busy tonight. Still, I hope you will have a moment for a few questions, though. It won't take long. Mato erupts into laughter, patting Paddy on the shoulder with a hand as big as a dinner plate. Any mortal who get pulverized by a friendly little pat like that. This gentle giant is truly something else. Anything for you, my man! And speaking of, who's this you brought? Mato's gaze cuts right through me, his hawkish eyes surprisingly cool and sharp despite his rugged exterior. A split second passes before I realize he's sizing me up. That I'm coming up short. Mato probably wouldn't spare me a second glance if it weren't for Patrick. Mato Mitkali. She's got in a bit of a situation with the ivory tower. You see, well, to put it short, her execution is on hold provided she delivers the council her sire's head on a silver platter. Mato lets out a long whistle, his eyes gaining a touch of warm and, dare I say, grudging respect. Damn! What's your sire accused of? That's kind of what we're trying to piece together. Ever come across a lick who goes by Renner Castle? Reynard, huh? Can't say it rings a bell. What's his deal? Blood trade, among other things. Patrick said quietly, sharply, with no hesitation. And I swear I see a bit of vitae drain from Mato's face. He almost drops the dirty rag he's been filling with it ever since we got here. A tense silence fills the air, stretching like an endless rubber band. Thankfully, just as I'm a second away from blurting out some nonsense to break it, Mato speaks up. I left that shit behind, man, you know that! I know. Believe me, we're not here to dredge up the past, we just need a direction, nothing more, nothing less. Surely there's still someone who's still in the loop, someone who might have heard some rumors. Mato falls silent, avoiding Patrick's eyes. Internally, I'm giving Patrick a standing ovation. I mean, I'm well aware I've misjudged my caretaker, but damn, if he's not a wire puller, maybe he could even teach me a thing or two. I get it, it's a difficult situation for you, but I was really hoping you could help me out here. You know I would not hesitate to reciprocate, as I have in the past. Yeah, I know. He seems more resigned than irritated, but still refuses to speak. Eyes downcast, body language borderline deer in headlights. There must be some juicy history between those two, and I make sure to remember that info for later. Patrick looks at me, shoots me a quick look, but before he can double down on the guilt tripping, I flash my most charming grin and step forward. You see, I'm only know Paddy here for what, a single night? Turns out that's more than enough to figure he's pretty good at killing the vibe when he puts his mind to it. That earns me an outraged glare from the caitiff, which I cheerfully ignore, and an unexpected chuckle from Mato. I count my blessings and push on. Look, I don't know the first thing about you. The whole blood trade drama or whatever, that's not my business. I'm not about to dig in your dirt. Survival's the game we're all playing, right? Throwing a Reynard quote out there is kind of cheap, but it tends to work like a charm. So I'll back off. Plus, I'm in a spot where I really can't afford to have anyone else in this town be pissed off at me. Yeah, I gotcha. It's just that... No need to spell it out for me. Gnarly pass or sort of my thing, you know. Let's just drop the whole shebang, eh? He nods hesitantly, and I'm not sure if he caught on to my attempt to win him over. I really hope he didn't, because I've already scanned his workshop and caught a bait or two I can feed him to keep him on the hook. Let's overappreciate some of this stuff and see a fellow enthusiast. Let me see a fellow enthusiast in me. Hey, you were in a garage, yeah? Got any spare hydraulic jacks lying around? My leveling system completely bailed on me a few nights back. Leveling system? Oh, that's a new one. Didn't figure you for an RV type. What's your ride? I mean, it's kind of started with a life as a Class CC Mini Winnie, but after years of us messing with it and adding stuff, it's basically a custom built, you know. And it's a six-wheeler. He lets out a whistle so clear it's almost musical. Modified chassis, huh? Color me intrigued. I would love to get a look at that beast. Maybe it's just a simple fix for the jacks, like some wiring got bad, no power getting through. Nope, check it out already. When those jacks decide it's game over, there's no coming back. It's not a big deal, really. I just hate having anything break on me when I'm out and about, you know. Tell me about it. I used to spend a lot of time on the road myself. Yeah? What was your haunt? Duluth, Minnesota. Been ages since I went back then, though. Why's that? Oh, you know, stuff. Business, responsibilities, and then I just sorta gave up on it. Well, if you ever get hit with a sudden wave of nostalgia, I could swing by and pick you up. After I'm done with all that this Camarilla shit, of course. Might be old playing tricks on me, but he seems more at ease now. Maybe even warmed up to me by a degree or two. You're Class C, that's your haven, right? Right on. Fully decked, sunproof, still curtains at all. Reliable and minty fresh mobile haven. Damn. I really need to see that masterpiece sometime. Give me a few nights to sort my stuff out and I'll show you all its quirks. He cracks an actual smile, looking both wistful and excited. You know what? I might take you up on that offer. Deal. Just keep those fingers crossed for me, alright? I've got to navigate my way out of that Camarilla mess first, remember? I gleefully sift through Mato's treasure, pretending I don't see him watching me like a hawk, clearly fighting a vicious internal battle. But in the end, neither of us breaks our silent standoff. It's time we head out. We still need to find someone who can actually give us some answers. Sorry about you, Mato, and thank you for your time. That's gold, even by Patrick's standards, but it sets me up perfectly. Smile brightly at Mato and wave a little. I might not come back, this is a goodbye. Farewell, gentle giant. Goodbye, Mato. Look after this little Shangri-La of yours, okay? We turn around to live and I quietly count the steps, but before I reach 3, Mato curses under his breath and speak up. Ah! Hold up! Patrick shoots me a meaningful look, but it's gone by the time we turn back to the friendly giant. Mato's gnawing at his bottom lip and twisting the rag between his finger. Yes? I really am out of that business. I really am out of that business, Batty. I know, Mato. I know. Still, some whispers find their way into my ears. Nobody likes gossip more than a buzzed-up kindred. Ain't that the truth? Usually comes in really handy too. Yeah. So there's this Tin Blood alchemist. Skylar is her name, I think. Hangs around at Sunny's a lot. Sunny's. Empire of the Sun. It's a local anarch dive. Yeah, exactly, Sunny's. If anybody knows anything about the blood trade, it's her. She's the only albino around too, so you won't mistake her for none. Thank you, Mato. That's all we need. I owe you big time. Who knows? You might have saved my skin there. Don't mention it. Still, we should get going. Take care. Mia! Oh my god, this is Torque's second-hand man. What's she doing here? Not so fast, Runt! What's with the kindred in the city and their love for lurking? Or is it me who's losing edge? Miss Sorrento, what a pleasure. The air crackles with their mutual glare. Patrick, stoic, hers livid. Mato waves at her awkwardly, to which she responds with a curt nod. Me? Might as well be invisible to her. Torque needs you. Now. Why? I came here to tell you, not to debate you, caitiff. Figure it out on your own. Patrick tries to hide his frustration, but his jaw is set on his shoulders and tight. Fine. Let's get moving, Callie. I don't think you heard me right. Torque, summon you. Your Ramnos pup is not invited. She turns on her head, heel, and walks off into the night. The cluttered car shop suddenly feels a touch more welcoming, as if starlight broke through after a storm. Mato gives Patrick another one of those awkward shoulder pats, but it does have a relaxing effect on him, or at least it stopped him erratically spinning the ring. Miss Sorrento, she seems delightful. Who's the bitch? No. I mean, she is indeed one, but we're not allowed to call her that. So, alright, we're gonna make fun of him. Miss Sorrento? Who's that charmer? Didn't seem like your regular run-of-the-mill errand girl. Yeah, no, that was Mia, Torque's enforcer, sort of big fish around here. Bigger than Torque sometimes. Easy, Patty, you wouldn't want her catching wind of that. Patrick clears his throat in a uselessly mortal manner. Right. I believe that is our cue to go. Thanks again, Mato. Don't mention it. And hey, you're welcome back anytime, both of you. You got it. Later. Patrick gnashes his teeth so loudly that I can hear it a good 5 feet away. He's spitting his ring in such a violent, erratic manner that for a brief, bizarre moment, I think he's gonna rip his finger off. So I take a brilliant, as always, decision to lighten the mood. So Mato's super cool. Politics, am I right? The weather is nice, ain't it? Politics, am I right? So on a scale from 1 to I'm over this, how much do you regret getting into politicking right now? About 5. Sitting comfortably on the fence, I see, as expected of a professional mediator. How did that happen, by the way? Is there a seminar for that kind of thing? To tell you the truth, Callie, I am a bit unsure myself. I am happy to report that my effort seems to have worked, or at least Patrick straightened up and puts his hands in the pockets instead of maiming them with the twisty ring. Still, who knows what little claws are doing to the lining of this coat. So, what's the plan now? I have to go see Torque. Yeah, I got her, but scary enforcer lady made it clear I wasn't invited to the party. You just have to wait in the car then. Look, as much as I consider your perfectly serviceable car to be excellent company, we both know I can't just sit around doing nothing. Then I'll ask someone to keep an eye on you. Should not take too long. Bullshit! You and your endless debate. I'll be old and gray before you come back, and that's not even an option anymore. Seriously, you handle Torque, and I'll head over to Sunny to look for that scholar girl. That's not happening. Oh, come on! I've been the very model of temperance tonight. We've all been awake for mere hours. Splitting hairs? I'm heading to Sunny to wait for you there. Scout's honor. He sighs, rubbing Taria's eyes. I miss smartphone. I don't miss GPS. I mean, what else can we do? Are you gonna chip me like a dog or something? And before you say anything, I'm highly allergic to any form of tracking, tech, or otherwise. I have no idea what any of that means. Probably for the best. A shade of amusement crosses Patrick's face, but he managed to swiftly suppress it. Look, it seems we are out of options here. You'll have to come with me and wait for a bit. I'll figure out what Torx wants from me, and then... He trails if mid-sentence and stares blankly into the distance, hands joined together to spin his ring. I wave my hand in front of his face, but he doesn't even flinch. Talk about being out there, and trust me, I'm an expert on out there. After what seems like a lifetime, he finally speaks up, and I feel every single drop of predictability evaporate. Now his name is Paddy. Alright, let's meet at Empire of the Sun in an hour. Hold up, for real? Empire of the Sun, 1 hour. Do not let me down. And before I even have a chance to say anything like maybe thanks or crack a joke, He turns on his heel, hops into his perfectly sizable vehicle, and drives off into the night. I feel right at home, all alone, and without anyone breathing down my neck, surprisingly to myself, and probably to Patrick's as well. I have no intention of bailing, not when there's a solid lead waiting for me at Sunny's. But then again, the night is young, lit up, and gorgeous, and I'm alone in the city that never sleeps. Why not enjoy the scenic route? Yay! Alright, so I can go straight to Sunny, or Luck Be a Lady Tonight detour. What are the odds of bumping into a street gambler right in the middle of New York, the day after Christmas at that? Slim to none, I'd say, but when fate is the dealer, you'll just gotta go all in. With my caretaker off doing his own thing, it feels like the Camarilla's iron fist has finally loosened up, giving me a much-needed break. No forced hangout, no endless chase, just me cruising through the buzzing street of the Bronx with Mariah Carey's Wailing as my soundtrack for the night. Because, of course, you can't escape the official anthem of Christmas. Ah, yes, of course. Of course. I'm not a fan of the fake festive frenzy, but still, the dazzling array of lights and decoration, the infectiously high spirits and cheer, it's enough to make even a Grinch like me crack a smile. Props to the folks who turned this whole Jesus-y shit into the world's longest con. Ah! Despite all that, I find myself craving some risky excitement. Yeah, I know I'm a lost cause in that department, perks of the clan, so to speak. And it looks like Lady Luck is grinning at me again tonight, because despite the nearly deserted street, I spot a small crowd gather up ahead. Curiosity piqued, I saunter close enough to fish out a really bad gather-up routine. Street gambler, get in here, give it a chance, y'all, cause we're about to dive into a big old showdown, jitterbug with destiny, or whatever is trending right now. Here, the cards are calling the shots. Destiny, cards, chance. It's that same familiar melody, just played in a different key this time. And clearly, someone forgot how to tune their act, because I remember how well it's done. Invite the memory or shake it off. No, invite the memory, I want to know. Funny. This worn out spiel takes me back to my, well, let's call them my free expression days, back when I was still mortal and not a vile creature of the night. I can still recall the dusty desert winds, the throbbing beats, and the neon light that veiled my deception. My fingers were nimble with tricks, and the crowd's gasps were the fuel for my fire. And yeah, I was a hustler. Though back then I fancied myself more a street performer skill in my art, only dipping into its shadier aspects to cover my immediate expenses. Because I was about more than just making money. It was about finding that sweet spot between illusion and reality. It's just that when reality hits, it really fucking hurts. But when one chapter closes, another reopens. And in that transition, Reynard played the role of a catalyst for change. Who's got the guts to risk it all? Come on, throw in a bit of your time and a few bucks, and let's kick this party into high gear. The stage for the show is a dilapidated table with chipped paint and a couple of flimsy folding chairs. But it's not the dismal setup that's the most rickety. It's this whole vibe. The guy is a walking vitamin D deficiency, wrapped up tight in a jacket that could easily fit two of him. His hands are like spiders, always creeping back into his pockets when he's not dealing or shuffling. I squint up to get a better look at his face. His eyes shoot directly at me. Hey folks, Shakhtar next contender in the crowd. How about we shuffle up for a round of poker, you and I, eh? Can see that on the sly scale, 10 being smooth like Shin Lim and 1 being just your average uncle. He's all brakes and no gas. But hey, I've been pulled before. And that never stopped me from diving headfirst into dumb risk, has it? Deal me in, slick! I slide into a chair, deliberately choosing the one he didn't point to, just to throw off his rhythm. And I toss the required change into his jar for a buy-in. The jar is pretty full, though I suspect he might have stuffed it himself to look more convincing. We keeping it real simple, with only 10 cards, no room for cheating around here, can't sneak in an extra one cause you'll bust me. And if I try to swap one away, you'll clock me real quick. Is Hold'em dead or something? 10-card poker? Really? I vaguely remember Reynard teaching me some tricks to avoid getting played. But right now, my mind's so blank it feels like I'm forgetting even more stuff just by thinking about it. Alright, quick math. That's me and him. So that's 2, plus a standard 52 card deck. 10 cards in the mix. And that with... yeah! 250 something combination. Half that, then factor in whatever he's hiding up his sleeve, and that's roughly the number of ways I can get fucked over. Probably should have asked what we were playing before diving in. But he's already shuffling, so there's a chance to get a read on him. I need a planned stat. Keep an eye on him, take a peek at the cards, try to recall the trick. I dig deep, trying to latch onto any memory of this trick. And, oddly enough, I managed to fish out a piece of wisdom buried deep in the muck of my mind. Reynard's word came back to me. Something about ships and that biblical guy, what's his face? Joe? Jared? Jackie? The whale guy! Jonah! Guess I could really use Patrick's endless knowledge right about now. Fuck it, let's go with Jackie. Jackie and the whale. So this Jackie asshole, he's bad luck for the whole ship. And similarly, there's one doomed card that ruins my old game. But there's the kicker. If I can figure out which card Jackie is, I can turn this game around in my favor. So Jackie, the Jackie card, goes down the shitter. Now, the $1,000,000 question, which card is it? Playing the first round against even a shitty hustler is basically throwing my cash into a black hole. But hey, I'm feeling generous today. I'll even toss a few extra bucks just to keep the game interesting. He deals, and I check my hand. Jack of clubs, queen of hearts, king of spades, and a pair of eights. Okay. Oh man, not bad. I just barely won. Got 2 pairs, jacks and queens. Just as I expected. He's playing 3 of a kind with 3 different cards. And the culprit behind my defeat, the one card causing all the trouble, the king of spades. I need to steer clear of it at all costs. Pretty easy to win when you're the one doing the shuffling. The crowd backs up with murmurs of agreement. He looks rattled for a second, but quickly recovers with a smirk. Alright, you know what? Let's even the odds a bit. I'll show you the card, and you can decide whether to keep it or pass it back to me, deal? Finally, things are about to get interesting. He finishes shuffling and flicks the first card my way. Your choice! The Queen of Hearts makes her grand entrance, all pomp and circumstances. Mine or yours? Let's keep her. Yes, Queen! Lead the way to our victory! Definitely mine. The King of Spades appears, all business with his arm crossed. Do you want this card or should I take it? Give it to me or take it. Shit. Sure, King, make yourself at home. Yeah, pass it to me. He barely contains a smirk. As you wish. How about now? The 8 of diamonds, just about expecting as watching paint dry. It's yours. Nah, passing on this one. You can have it. I make a few more calls, deciding whether the cards go to him or to me until he's dealt them all. I'm really hoping Lady Luck hasn't turned her back on me this time. Reynard will laugh his ass off if I lost to a mortal. Then he reveals his hand. Shit. Sorry, gal. You were just a little bit unlucky. His mug, punchable face. Just now. I just know I can feel in my gut that he's full of shit. I don't know how you pull it off, but this whole game is rigged. Someone's a bit touchy about losing, huh? I get it. Not everyone can handle it. So, how come you haven't lost a single fucking round tonight, huh? I jerk my head and this jar overflowing with cash. No one's that good, especially not a dipshit like you. It's pathetic how the dude thinks he's being so smart. It makes his face more punchable than ever. And I'm not about letting off the hook that easily. Chemistry, follow my lead, y'all. I'll confess, or just flip the table. Wait. It's an obfuscate move. Chemistry. Alright, obfuscate again. Threat increase and hunger increase. Okay. As the tension builds and the crowd starts getting restless, I tweak the ambient noise to mimic an accusatory whisper. Amid the rising chaos, the word cheater cuts through, hitting the hustler like a cold blast. The accusation ramps out his confidence face until he finally caves, his confession barely audible over the uproar. Stop it! Stop! You're right! Sorry, what was that? Right about what exactly? The cheating! Yeah, you're right, I might have cheated just a bit. Suddenly it's so quiet you can hear a pin drop, and then the crowd begins to thin out, leaving the hustler alone with his shame. I get up and snatch my winnings with a joyous spring in my heels, flashing a parting grin at my defeated opponent. See you around, bitch! I book it into the night, reminding myself to pick up the space. Sonny's waiting. Okay, so I made some money, but I raised my hunger and the threat. I was hoping for a feeding opportunity, but apparently not meant to happen. Okay. From pillar to post to another unarced spot. Networking, right? With Padre temporarily out of the picture, it's on me to ring that Skylar Duskborn drive for every last drop of intel. The area outside the Empire of the Sun is pretty sparse, both with mortal and my fellow kindred, so chilling out front isn't a big deal. I blend in perfectly, all amped up for whatever's going on tonight. Still, old habits die hard, so I take a sec to study the area carefully, taking in the way my con artist sensibilities demand. First off, it's mostly tame out here. The only dude catching my eye is this total nutjob parked by the door, screaming about doomsday while rocking that cocked up Al Pacino look. That coked up Al Pacino, yeah. He's got that wild vibe, complete with drool and insanity in his eyes. Yikes. Even if it was still in the grifter game, if I was still in the grifter game, I wouldn't bother with him. Lunatics like that are more trouble than they're worth, and usually broke to boot. Then there's the front of the dive, which looks, for lack of a better word, loved. Despite the dodgy neon and the graffiti that actually kind of witty, the place radiates an inviting warmth. A place with a soul. Still, the Empire of the Sun sign, with Sue scribbled next to it, is so on the nose, I can't help chuckling on the inside. People clearly have fun at Sunny's and treat it as their place, a place they can return to again and again and again, and never feel unwelcome. So yeah, as you can see it on the wall, there's a lot of graffiti, and there's somebody draw a sun with stars and moon. Wait, what does it say? Lick and peep? Lick and dip? But I'm wasting precious time just standing out here. Gotta find Skylar before Patty comes back and gives me the look. I head for the entrance. Doors decked out with all sorts of funny stickers. Before I can even touch the handle, the crazy guy grabs me with unexpected speed for someone so curled up. Shake him off so easily, give him my best back-off glare. It does nothing. He's on his own world. Unhinged ghoul. Oh ho, it's coming! The reckoning is upon us! The signs! The signs! Yeah, it really looks like Scarface. He has the coked up Al Pacino look. Hey, back off, will ya? Look up! Look up, damn you, it's death! Death! Dressed in rays of light. It's watching. The day star is waiting to cleanse us in fire. As I walk past the guy, his words echo in my head and rattle between the crevices of my brain, stirring long dormant fears. Can you see it? The day star! It's the end of it all! I enter Sonny's acting cool and collected as if none of that crazy shit fazed me. Every bit of the wall has been tagged. And with art. Urban art. The interior looks exactly the way I expected. A kaleidoscope of stickers, murals, lights, and banners covering pretty much every available surface, interspersed with well-worn seating, musical instruments, and plenty of space for dancing. To say that I've seen it hundreds of times before in dozens of cities doesn't quite capture the whole picture. But I gotta say, it feels like home. Spotting Skylar is easy with her head full of bleached dreadlocks. Besides, the bar is practically empty. Maybe all the kindred have gone to bring in the holiday season. Who knows? She's hunched over a table, completely focused on scribbling something in a notebook. She doesn't notice me as I approach, so I get a sneak peek at one of the pages and discover some gorgeous, intricate designs for, I assume, geometric tattoos. Nice drawing. Allow me to introduce myself, or are you Skylar? Skylar Livingstone, I presume? I plop down right next to her, shaking her out of her reverie. She gives me a confused stare. Excuse me? Yeah, she looks pretty. She's very pale, but she does have bleach dreadlocks. She's wearing white shirt with a sleeveless vest of black, a tied up red long sleeve shirt around her waist, a belly cut you know, like Dr. Livingstone. Dr. Livingstone, I presume. I don't know your last name, so... Oh! But you do know my first. Who exactly are you? A new friend. If I'm lucky. Name's Callie. Her eyes narrow on me, to which I respond with my biggest grin. Can I help you or something? I'm looking for Reynard Castle. Never heard of him, so if that's all... And where do you think you're going? I grab her by the collar as gently as I can and ease her back down. She resists a little, but let's be honest, her thin blood has nothing on a well-fed kindred. I keep her down easily, but my grin widens in a manner that is, hopefully, just a little threatening. I usually favor dodging conflict over sparking it, but this time my impulse steers me towards chaos, and I let the flood take me like a ship on the windswept sea. Let go of me! Answer my question then. Reynard Castle, where is he? Look, I really don't know any Reynard Castle or whatever, okay? Really? Playing dumb? Do I look like I'm here for games? Cut the shit and talk. I have nothing to say to you, bitch. Let me go or I'll start screaming. Daunt? Who do you think you are? Chemistry? No, you won't. I'm gonna go with Daunt. Threat increase, hunger increase. Not after I ripped out your fucking windpipe, you don't! Now simmer down and let's talk. Her eye starts to wander, dimmed by the sheer power of my bearing. For a moment she seems motionless, her upper body twisted in a decidedly awkward way before tensing up as if she's going to bolt. But I'm ready for it. I grab her by the neck, slam her onto the table, and turn her face towards me, calmly repeating my question. Now, where is Reynard Castle? She keeps struggling for a moment, but in the end she goes limp, defeated and seething with frustration. I honestly don't know. I only heard bits and pieces about him, and the alchemists worth their salt knows of all the major suppliers in the city. Oh, so you slink ink and mix potion? That's quite the combo. Screw you! Not sure where my genuine compliment went wrong, but okay. So, what's the scoop on Castle? Preferably his current whereabouts. I keep telling you I've got no clue. I've never even laid eyes on him. Then give me something worthwhile. You're sort of wasting my time here, girlie. Love me a good chat, but I'm on the clock at the moment. Alright, chill out, will ya? I know someone. They're this courier. She delivers all sort of shit all over the country. Can get you pretty much anything. She's tight with Castle, alright? Interesting. Go on. Go on? Go on what? I smother the urge to roll my eyes. Go on, hook me up with her, like yesterday. All those threats and she still hesitates to help me. Well, the time for the stick has gone and gone, now it's time for the carrot. I really wasn't lying when I told Mato I would rather not make any more enemies in the city. Look, you're not exactly catching on here. I could just take your phone and set up the meeting myself. But I'm feeling generous, so I'm asking you. Politely, I might add. You call that polite? Duh. I could switch back to rude. Haven't you noticed? I can get back to impolite if that's what you prefer, but I didn't think you would rather I didn't. I'll even swim in the pot. Alright? You send me a meeting with that courier of yours, and I'll clue you in on where I'm stashed my goods. Her ears perk up a little, but she still eyes me up with great suspicion. What goods are we talking about? I flash her a reassuring grin and thought she recoiled a little. Her attempt at nonchalance fails miserably. Blood stashes, obviously, top quality, best variety, all your little alchemist's heart might possibly desire. Deal? I reach out my hand, pausing to give her the space to decide before I'm forced to make the decision for her. Luckily, after a brief deliberation, she reaches out and shakes my hand. Deal. Hold on, I'm gonna make a quick call. I nod and relax, keeping her in sight as she wanders over to the stage area and takes out her phone. I feel a twinge of guilt over how I treated her. Maybe I should have just started off with that whole blood stash thing. Yeah, well, I'm not exactly a planner, am I? If this courier leads me to Renard tonight, this whole search could end in a matter of hours. Just the thought of freeing myself from the looming threats of the Camarilla, that annoying caitiff, and this this oh so futile endeavor, it warms the chambers of my undead heart. Finally, Skylar hangs up and gets back to the table, fidgeting with the charm hanging from her phone, a real bundle of nerves. Done! Meeting's in 15. Let's move. We're coming back. The goal is still here. When it blazes brightest, we'll all be judged. A gentle snowfall greets me outside, gracefully covering the dirty sidewalks in a layer of pristine white and dusting the occasional pedestrian with soft fleeing crowns. Skylar winces at the screams of the madman and brushes up the fallen snow. I, on the other hand, let it settle in my hair undisturbed. Snow never bothered me anyway. No, you're not allowed. It's been 10 years, eh? You are not allowed. You are not allowed to say that for the past 10 years. So, who are we meeting exactly, and where? The moment she opens her mouth, the perfectly serviceable vehicle cuts the corner with Podrick hunched over the steering wheel. A roiling storm cloud on his face, he pulls up carelessly and lunges towards Sunny before noticing Skylar and me. He pauses, face scrunching in confusion. He seems generally surprised to see me, and I'm suspended somewhere between feeling smug for defying his expectation, exasperated that he has so little faith in my word, and slightly regretful I never even intended to flee, if only to gauge his reaction. Sadly, he regains his composure before I can tease him about it. You're here. That's good. Of course, for now, don't get too excited. Duh! Told you I'd be here. Indeed, given your track record, you understand why I find it shocking, yet not entirely unpleasant. Hey, I never gave my word I would stick around last time, did I? He rolls his eye and settles his gaze on Skylar. They size each other up, suspiciously like a pair of alley cats on a hot tin roof. Patty, meet Skylar, local anarch with a knack for alchemy. Skylar, meet Patty. It's Podrick. actually. Pleased to meet you, Skylar. Yeah, alright, you super formal goof. Skylar nodded at him curtly. I can see the apprehension in her eyes, so I step in, hoping to keep our fragile truce. Don't stress too much. Patrick might be a bit uptight, but he's alright. He's just here to offer us a lift, that's all. I am... Yep! I see. Skylar's eyes jump between Patrick and me, but in the end, she seems to give up on caution. Maybe the prospect of a ripe blood stash is keeping her on track. We need to get moving. The meeting place ain't far, but, well, night couriers aren't known for their patience. So let's hustle. Night courier, huh? Interesting. So, who's this particular courier exactly? She shrugs, making her way towards the caitiff's ride. Don't know. I only know her by the handle, and she always I only know her by the handle, and she always wears a helmet, so... How mysterious sounds risky. It's gonna be fine. As long as she's clued in on Raynor's location, seems like my kind of gal too. Maybe I should start wearing something on my face, like a cool mask. Skylar mutters under her breath. A gag would be more fitting. Honestly, Patty and her would definitely hit it off. Birds of a feather, yada yada. Careful, or I'll gag you instead. She presses her lips together and gets into the car without another word. Satisfied, I nod to myself before turning to Patrick. Anyways, you're done with the torque thing? Yes. His speedy response is slightly suspicious. Narrow my eyes and judging him openly, but he's completely unfazed. More importantly, was all that about a night courier? I smile at him mischievously, fling the passenger door open, and there it is, Patrick's audible sigh. He's really fond of his mortal reaction to my antics. Voices of the angel, they see poison into your ears. Heed not, heed not their honeyed words. The sudden commotion alerts me, and I'm instantly ready to pounce. The loony from before is kneeling before Patrick, clutching at the hem of his pants, with his head thrown back and misted over eyes staring blankly into the night sky. He stops screaming, but his lips quiver with faint whisper that fade into the air like smoke. Dream not in your slumber, for the day star will sear his truth unto your whole being. I sigh and roll my eyes, ready to toss a quip about attracting like, but then I notice that Patrick has not moved an inch. He's staring motionless into the man's eyes, completely frozen aside from his hand, which fingers twitching wildly, spinning the dice ring. He's been fidgeting like that a lot, actually, now that I'm paying attention. Patrick? You okay there, buddy? No answer. The catatonic madman falls over into the snow as I approach and gently free Patrick from his grasp. Patrick, talk to me! What's going on? Suddenly his hands stop. Then all of him freezes. He avoids my eyes and shoves his hands into his pocket. I'm fine. You sure? What was that all about? I do not know. Let's not fret about it for now. The night courier's waiting. Alright, so we're going near a bridge that connects Bronx to the Queens. I thought I knew every fixer with whom Raynor has ties in, given my role as the logistic gals for our coterie. Maybe I'm just tired, but I have no clue who that night courier might be, and it sends my trickster sense into overdrive. Usually I would fill the car with some kind of idle talk, whether I'm in friends or just by myself, but this time I just let the silence hang. Neither Patrick nor Skylar seems keen on chatting, not even with the classic Queen tracks playing, so the caitiff's perfectly serviceable car is almost uncomfortably quiet as we cruise through the night streets of New York City. I got this strange sensation in my stomach, like I've eaten a chunk of ice. It If Kindred could get indigestion, I would blame it on my last mortal meal. But since that's not a thing, I guess this feeling must be anxiety. It's really not my usual vibe. Something about this whole situation makes the hair on my neck stand upright. It feels like there's something terrifying waiting for me at our destination, just a few blocks away. But weirdly enough, my gut is telling me not to run from it. And my gut is usually spot on. As we pull up to the meeting spot, the night courier stands out immediately, mostly because she's the only one around. Clad in dark leathers and sporting a helmet, she almost disappears into the night along her side or back. We barely come to a halt before Skylar jumps out of the car and approaches the courier in a few strides. She seems eager to talk, and even more eager to bolt, so I keep my eye on her, ready to give chase. She looks like she might be a run for it. It's not even a question. I shoot him a quick glance his way and catch him looking at Skylar just as intently as I am. Won't surprise me, I don't think she will. Of course she does. Well, I most certainly would in her place. The real question is whether she's willing to sacrifice access to my stash for that chance. And she seems pretty keen to get her hands on it. I see. Well, let's hope her interest hasn't waned then. The moment Skylar pivots and heads our way, we cut the chatter and step out of the car. 5 minutes, that's all I could get from you. Spend it well. Her hand reaches up to me in a gesture that feels overly formal. Yes? Good evening, lady. Low five! I shake it vigorously, keeping my face utterly solemn. She jerks it away, clearly taken aback by my intensity. The key, to your stash. I held up my end of the bargain. Yeah, got it right here. I toss her the key, which she easily snags out of the air. Pleasure. With that, she's off to the night. As she disappears, we casually approach the night courier. One look at Patrick reveals a simmering impatience. I know he wants to take the lead, and honestly, while I'm not exactly thrilled to step aside, it seems like a pragmatic choice. Let's face it, negotiation with Skylar went less than stellar, even by my standard. But Patrick hardly gets a word out before the courier cuts him off with a sharp, sour response. Who is he? She looks like Natasha in Black Widow. Shut the hell up, pretty boy! Wait, I know the sound of that walking ink's vortex. Callie? The fuck did you get yourself into this time? She takes out her helmet, and I'm floored, staring at a face I never thought I'd see again outside of some vampire afterlife fantasy. Jess? Holy shit, is that actually you? Jessica. Is this why you dragged my ass over here? To star in this shitty high school reunion? As prickly as ever, dying to give her a hug, but her thundercloud of a face screamed back the fuck off. I settle for an awkward pat on the shoulder. Care to introduce me? Jess's eyes nearly pop out of her head. Oh, piss off! Is this really why I'm out here? What? Hell no! Let's just go one step at a time. Christ. Patrick, mate, Jessica Wainwright. I know you like it formal. She was part of our crew before she up and vanished like a ghost a year back or so. Speaking of which, we thought you were gone. For good, I mean. She seems thrown by that, but she swallows whatever rush of words is clawing at her throat. Oh, really? Well, that clears up the mystery of the silent phones. So we're playing it like that? I fucking warned you, you dick! Not like I can text beyond the grave. FYI, I left you guys a fucking note. This whole situation is surreal. The hell are you on about? Reynard said... Of course, Reynard fucking Castle turning shit into gospel. Her deceptively soft features harden. Why the hell are you poking around for him anyway? Let's summarize. It's my new hobby, Jess, because I'm royally screwed. Okay, let's summarize. Short version, Camarilla. Full scoop, he's off the grid and now I'm neck deep in shit because the Camarilla wants him found. Right, and who's this Shama? I'm essentially the ref keeping her afloat into the cesspool she's plunged into. Not gonna lie, I jump up a little. I sort of forgot he was even there. I still toss him a wounded look and pout a little while, just lets out a hearty laugh. So, I'm surfing this wave of horse shit with you? Oh, you filthy lifeline. The sheriff had him shadow me. I swear he's useful sometimes. Maybe it's the pretty yet infinitely punchable face that does it. Right. And you just went along with all this creeping around because why exactly? Because I don't have a dead wish. New year, new me. Take a fucking guess. Alright. Pop quiz. Option A, I'm in the mood for some company. Option B, I do it or get my head lopped off by the sheriff. Take a wild guess which one I picked. She's clearly not amused. Stepping outside of the gang has really changed our vibe. Hell, we used to get along swimmingly back when we were cramped in that RV together. Maybe a bit of real talk is what I needed to melt that ice. I drop my voice as if I'm letting her in on a deep dark secret. Truth be told, there's gonna be something bigger at play with this whole mess, you hear me? I just can't figure out what the hell they want with Reynard, and why now of all times. Shred shrugs and crosses her arm over her chest, looking like she couldn't care less. Water's wet, the sky is blue, and piss stinks. By which I mean, underneath all that charm, Castle's been a two-faced, lying sack of shit from day one. No wonder the whole ivory tower's on his tail. Hold up. There's clearly bad blood between her and Reynard, and it's skewing her view a bit, maybe. Charming? Sure. I would buy Sneakle off the bastard too. But he's always been straight with me. What's even worse, she had this horrid look in her eye I can only interpret as pity. The hell's there to pity? I'm doing just fine, thank you very much. Oh no you're not, girl. Oh no you're not, girl. Even me, I see this. Ever since her head was on the chopping block, I could tell. I heard through the grapevine you might know where Castle is hiding. Then Jess laughs at that. Am I losing my edge here? Oh honey, Castle's in even deeper shit than Callie is. See, I've been involved with the circulatory system on and off, passing messages and whatnot. She leans back even further onto her bike, all cool and collected, like nothing gets to her. I almost follow, enraptured, but catch myself at the last moment straighten up, signaling for her to continue. Word is, Castle shot right up to the top of their shit list just a couple nights back, based on some fresh intel they got from who knows where. I want to say Kaiser, because of course it's always Kaiser. Suddenly she leans forward on her elbows, looking at me seriously. This is Major League shit, Kali. Could be Uncle Sam level big. And it might not just be Castle in the crosshairs, but anyone tangled up with him. Keep the hell away. Yeah, except running away somehow vanished from my playbook. I will literally lose my head over it. She shrugs and starts pulling her helmet on. It's your problem, not mine. I bailed on that clusterfuck of a sire for a reason, and our life's been beautiful ever since. Good fucking luck, though. Pause for dramatic effect. And don't bother calling me again. And then she's gone. Just an injured roar fading into the night. Right back at you, bitch! Without looking at Patrick, I let out an awkward laugh and kick up some loose stones. She's, quite something. How are you holding up? Could have gotten better, I'm fine, she's changed. Seen better nights, that one cut deep though. So, the circulatory system, huh? What's your take? Patrick mercifully bites his glib tongue and pretends not to see that I'm sort of in shambles. It appears they are more eager to nab Reynard Castle than we anticipated, and they managed to acquire some incriminating intel. To be honest, things don't look too good for him. Great! And we're still no closer to finding him than we were last night, or whatever. There is also the matter of whether the circulatory system intends to hunt you as well, by virtue of being Rainer's accomplice. Oh please, I'm hardly even a sidekick! He levels a blank stare at me and I bark out a laugh. My spirit momentarily lifted. I rub my hands together briskly, suddenly feeling like mischief. Well, seeing as your Anarch lead didn't really pan out, guess we're hitting Sansaric next. He hesitates, idly twitching his ring. More a tick than an actual need this time. It is indeed our backup lead, but... Okay, only lead. Fine. At the moment, it is our only lead. But I have my reservation about Sansaric. Let's unpack this back at my haven. Besides, dawn is nearly upon us. He starts walking toward the car, then pauses when he sees I haven't moved. I tug at the fraying edge of my sleeve, smiling at him almost apologetically. Yeah, funny story, but I can't, literally. He sizes me up relentlessly. Charlie, this isn't the moment for your antics. We need to move, and quickly. Thing is, your haven isn't safe for me anymore. What are you... It's just the thing with my clan. If I crash in the same spot more than once a week, you might as well sweep me up at sundown, like with a broom. He looks at me piercingly, searching for the seat, which for once isn't there. His finger dance on his hand, spinning the ring furiously. Finally, they come to a stop. Yeah, I get it. I'm not messing around. Oh, you do? A hint of mirth sparkled in his gaze, though his expression remained stoic. Let's rendezvous at my place tomorrow night. I've got a private eye in mind who might have an idea where to find Sansaric. A PI? You're not talking about D'Angelo, are you? He arches an eyebrow, a flicker of surprise on his face. Already acquainted, I see. More like disappointed. The leper's a good guy, but a dead end. Grilled him about Rainer and got zilch. He even implied it was somehow my fault Rainer's vanished off the face of the earth. Well, Castle is practically a ghost. Sansaric, on the other hand, is not exactly hiding. D'Angelo should know a thing or two about him. Fair. But he's a slippery little eel. You might need a leverage to get him talking. A shade of smile crosses his face. Oh, leave that to me, he'll talk. He turns around and climbs behind a perfectly serviceable wheel. Tomorrow dusk, my haven. Don't let me down. I give him a playful salute, waving as he pulls away. Ah, look at that. Night's bleeding into day already. I literally need to get a move on. There's a damp little cellar that I've been eyeing for a crash pad. It's not exactly the risk, but I've done my homework. It's secure enough for a quick sleepover. Time's ticking, but with any luck, I snag some prey en route. It's not good to sleep on an empty stomach after all. Okay? Oh, feeding opportunity. Detour, dance floor drenched in darkness. The beat dropped like it's on fire. Warm bodies pressed tight, buzz high and full of precious blood. This club is the prime spot to sink my teeth in. Yes! The moment I step into the club, I know it's an excellent place to hunt. Crowded with mortals, blackout drunk and high off their minds. Swaying, jumping and riding on the dance floor like there's no tomorrow. Only tonight, only now, only ecstasy. I'm gonna quench that awful clawing thirst in no time. Let's see, what do we have here? Scour the dance floor, look at the wallflowers, or head to the bathroom. Am I gonna take a bathroom feed? Alright, let's go to the bathroom. Restroom in clubs are easy pickings because mortals flock to them. Every rebeller makes their way there at least once per night, most of them many more times, and some just never leave. So I'm not surprised to find a whole meal laid out for me when my boot stomps onto the tile, echoing the dampened rhythm of the dance floor. There's a gorgeous woman leaning against the counter, hair sticking up in every direction, makeup smudged all over her face. She looks at me when I enter and waves hello with the smoke she's holding, slurring some incoherent words to join her. I don't feel like wasting energy on her. I'm already solo and so hungry, I only wave back. Another girl is squatting in the corner, bawling her eyes out and mumbling something onto her phone. A gaggle of women surrounds her, patting her encouragingly on the shoulder and screaming compliments at her. The whole scene is surreal but also familiar. I can see at every club drunk girls suddenly feeling overprotective, a perfect stranger in some way that transcends reality. Speaking of familiar scenes, there's another one waiting for me in the furthest stall. A woman leaning over the toilet, passed out in the pool of her own sick. Bingo! A very gross one, but bingo nonetheless. And hey, beggars can be choosers. No time for precious this year. Hunger threatens to overwhelm my senses. Carefully close the stall door behind me and pick the girl up by her tank top, just enough so I can comfortably bite the vomit-free part of her neck. Porcelain Queen. Okay, we're gonna feed on the Porcelain Queen. She tastes like vodka and regret. A classic cocktail, and not the worst I've ever tasted by far. Alright, the hunger quenched. Exploit a feeding opportunity. Great. So I gotta be careful next time. She doesn't even twitch when I drink from her. I don't drain her completely, of course, even though the amount I steal is not nearly enough to satisfy me. I let go after a few sips and pause to think. Leave her there or help her out. I feel kinda guilty leaving her here to wake up hungover from more than just the alcohol. It's not like she's gonna remember anything or whatever, but I haul her out of the stall and lay her down at the smoking girl's feet, who immediately start cooing at her gently, oblivious to my action. Maybe she hasn't even noticed I was in the stall for a while. I'm done here. Casually wash my hands and disappear into the night like a ghost. For the moment, I am almost sated. So the threat level lowered as well. Okay. If you're a Ravnos, home is just a dead memory. You only got a bunch of hideouts, some better than others, each offering a day's worth of safety. And one of them is close by, just waiting for me to hunker down and collect my thoughts. If D'Angelo's qualified as a hovel, then this temporary shelter of mine is a full-on catastrophe. So utterly dismal, it could force Tommy Wiseau to shed a genuine tear. You're tearing me apart, Lisa! Mold is practically redecorating the ceiling. And let's not start on the bed, a suspiciously damp mattress that leaks some extra sus fluid onto the floor which each squeeze. Home sweet fucking home. But hey, at least it's pretty secure. There's zero chances of sunlight sneaking in here. Maybe because the resident microbes have evolved enough to shut out anything that threatens their germy utopia. I sprawl out on the lumpy mattress and sulk over my dead Walkman, cursing myself for not getting spare batteries. When Reynard pulled that thing out, I legit thought he was going to wiretap me. But turns out he was just giving out a piece of his pass. A little gift from the better times or whatever. Honestly, as if I needed another thing to play my tunes. Our gang is not as uptight about going online as the tower, but so we stream just like everyone else. But I kinda got hooked, especially with the mountain of old cassettes crammed into our glove box. Digging through my belt bags in search of entertainment yells only the wooden stake had almost pierced my heart the night before. Shit, almost feel like another lifetime. But the stake sends up my thoughts drifting to Patrick. I can pretty conflicted, to be honest. Can I trust him? He seems to be on my side, caring even. There's something off about him. Something unsettling. I can't put my finger on it. It doesn't help that the changes of length of my leash, for no rhyme or reason, his mood swings faster than the San Francisco weather, is so annoying that he's now indispensable to my survival. Except for tonight. He was anything but. Still, introduced me to Mato. My gut's screaming that he's gonna be a game. He's gonna be a game changer for navigating the city, maybe even beyond. Skylar, not so much. Jess. Yeah. I'll hold off on poking at that sore spot for a bit longer. At least until after I shake off the dark sleep that's clawing at me. Eager, suffocating, steadily pulling me into the abyss. Meanwhile, Vritra's cruise ship, intermission night 2. Oh, so this is the guy. I would say I've been more than considerate. She responds with silence, and that unnervingly calm, icy stare that she could easily drive one of the brinks of madness. It's a weapon she's honed to perfection. I thought I'd be used to it by now, but it slices through me as viciously as the very first time. How long has it been now? 5, 6 months? Half of a year trapped in this endless spin of justification, half-truths, and unfulfilled promises, constantly veered of course. Despite her alleged interest in my unique condition, despite our shared thirst for answer, despite the growing urgency, the resolution to my dilemma always hovers just beyond my grasp. Still, she is the first kindred to make me believe she could truly grant me reprieve. I've been holding up my end of the bargain. Not once have I raised objection. Not once have I strayed from our agreement. But I'm not one of your puppets, Vritra. I thought I made my stance unequivocally clear. This is Vritra? She's either a Nosferatu or Tzimitzi. But I want to say Tzimitzi. That you did. This cannot go on. You need to deliver on your promises or I'm walking away. She cracks a smile. As stunning as it rare, like a dragon flashing its fangs, it suits her, giving her true nature. Yeah, Tzimitzi. All in due time, dear. All in due time. The Anarchy. So yeah, this is complete the end too. Alright. Do you end the night? Yes. Decided! And a single night with the lowest possible anger. Yeah! Night 3. Press any button to continue.